Hey guys, so this is I wish I could say it was a short video, but it's not. It's a medium length video for me to help you with your VASE student intent form. Um, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Um, Student intent form is not going to be an easy section. Not because it's difficult, but because people always have hard time critiquing their own work. So I want you to really try to think of it as third person looking at your own work, looking at your work and analyzing and interpreting and judging as a third person's point of view when you complete this intention form. Now, as an Art One student, it might be new to you. I know you guys haven't really developed a language to critique your own work or other people's work. So this will be a first step. And because it is first step, I'm going to ask you guys to fill this out after watching this video and secure a one-on-one or a small group meeting with me so that I can help you guide through how to have a successful student intent form. After having pre-filling this out and having a meeting with me, I also would like you to schedule or request a meeting with your English teacher. They're the best person for you to reach out to make these writings better. Now, I do want you to have a little bit of confidence with your work because if your work is strong, it should speak for itself. And this writing part is only a small fraction of your work and your competition. We do want to make it nice and neat, but trust in yourself. You got to this point because I believe in you, because I know that you have strong work of art. So have confidence and we can get this together. So let's go ahead and get started. When you go to Schoology, you should be able to download a Word document that has VASE student intent form. Open that up and we're going to go through line by line. First, it asks animation, interaction, functioning entry, video, UIL. Well, it's not animation or interactive video, so we are going to skip that part. Second, artwork width and height. Your work is either 24 inches by 36 or 36 inches by 24, depending on width and height and arrangement of your artwork's orientation. So think about that and write down 2436. Source for your artwork. Now, you have work from the original photo. So you're going to check the first one. And if you did use this photo, you probably had somebody else direct the photo to take photo of you. If so, you need to discuss who took the photo, when, and where. So most of you guys took the photo together at Lake Travis High School in Art Room 218 back in December 18th through 24th. Those were our photo shoot time. So you want to be very specific like that. And if your friend took a photo of you, you want to say, photo was taken by this person under my direction. That should be enough for you to support that this was your artwork. We don't have to check the second one, artwork from one or more original sketches, unless you have worked with other original sketches. Number two, student research and application to work. Explain the purpose, message of your work, or any artist's work or style that may have influenced you. We don't have an artist that we have worked with, so we can eliminate that question. Let's focus on explaining the purpose or message of your work. We really dealt with pandemic as our theme for this photo shoot. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to express your raw emotions and your reaction to the situation. Now, most of you have to use 3 to 5 sentences maximum to come up with one simple direct to point that discuss why you created and for what purpose you created this work. So I'm going to give you a quick advice on how I would describe this work with Ava. So if I was to say, I would say it's along the line like my artwork captures me enduring quarantine time, rendering isolations and loneliness that I felt. My hand tearing away the barrier, piercing through the barriers, letting in more light and darkness into my life. You know, my artwork illustrates my longingness for social scenes from a pre-pandemic time. I think that pretty much captures it, right? Or you can turn it into something positive like this. You can say, through my artwork, I'm silently protesting against this unconventional time of isolation and educational environment that I'm in. Peeling away the visual layers of barriers and merging out with the right gears and tools, which is our PPE, ready to fight these new challenges ahead of me. My brave action is represented with my hand as I tear away the layers of barrier and stern eyes ready to fight and survive. Now that's much more like, oh, yes, I'm ready to target this, I'm ready to tackle on this issue. So I really want you to create and support your artwork by 3 or 4 sentences that best captures, the purpose of your artwork. This might be a little tough, so you definitely want to type in a lot of different artist statement for you to read. I also have compiled on the bottom of this worksheet what I thought you could think about or read when you create this artist statement or student research and application to work. So I have few things that I wrote about mirrors. I have few things that I wrote about peeling away. I have few things where I talked about mask being representational tool. I talked about quarantine and loneliness for normalism. I'm sorry, normal time. So read this. I don't want you to really copy and paste it. I want you to use this to enhance your own statement. Okay. All right. Number 3, execution and technique. What did you use, media, to produce your artwork? It's easy. You use a pencil, graphite pencils. You can also be more specific and say, I used ebony pencil and number 2 pencil to execute a value drawing on a Bristol paper. The paper that I gave you, if you're in my classroom, Mrs. Na's class, you use Bristol paper, which is spelled Bristol, Bristol paper. If any digital application or processes were used for any part of your artwork, explain it all. We did not. We used a camera on our phone to take photos, right? And that's about it. We did turn it into black and white, but I don't think it's really necessary for us to go into that detail. We did not use any digital application, so you can say none. Explain how you produce this artwork, technique or process. You can say, I do want you to describe your photo shoot stages, discuss how you put up the papers and tear through it. You use the plastic barriers to hide your face or put a mirror underneath and use the light to create this, directional, intentional light. Photo shoot is a major part of how you created this work. So really do talk about that. I also want you to talk about how you use contour line to outline first, and you use number 2 and ebony pencil to create your value scale portrait. And you can also talk about how you use um, cross hatching and hatching for your smooth skin, and you can also talk about how you use short and stumpy pencil strokes for fuzzy sweaters in different places. Where are we? Explain the most important element and principles that you use to develop this artwork. I do want to talk to you about this individually because I know you guys haven't really developed the language to describe it. But if you go back to the 7 elements and principles that we have learned recently, this is what they're talking about. How's your artwork balanced? How are you creating this movement? Where is your emphasis? And what kind of variety of textures or value did you use? Before the interview, before one-on-one time with me, I do want you to go back over these 7 principles of design and 7 elements of art so that we can have easier conversation when we do this. Now, number 4, aesthetic and critical judgment. Describe the aesthetical and critical decision you had to make while creating this artwork and why did you make them? So we have this statement as to why we created this artwork. Now they're asking, how did you support this idea visually? What are your supporting elements? So for an example here with Ava's drawing, we have focal point. Our emphasis is in her raw emotion, her willingness to go out in gazing eyes, right? So you want to probably discuss the contrast between the darkness inside the frame and the lightness of the vest barrier that you have. That contrast of the darkness of darks and light is enhancing, the difference happening and how you're breaking away. You can also talk about how you have this rigid edges here purposely made at an angle so that you have this organic form sort of merging out against this rigid lines that's happening. There's another contrast happening. If you look very carefully at it and you're looking at a lot of these pencil strokes, there are evidence of pencils really working away from this tiny frame that's made by this white paper that seems to create your eyes to a movement for it to be drawn out so that it has focal point, but it also allows your eyes to rest outside and going in this circular movement. There's also uses of rule of third happening, great composition style. There is a 1/3 of a section that's dark that allows your eyes to rest on the space, allowing you to sort of also look at the kind of barrier, kind of blockage that we have that represents this COVID social distancing. So there are a lot of visual elements that you can use. If you didn't know or if you didn't intend it earlier, this will be a good time for you to analyze and interpret your own work to support your main idea. So don't think that you're cheating by now recognizing those points. It's okay for you to recognize that later because you probably knew about it. You just didn't understand why that was important. Now, let's go ahead and move on to, you can also talk about critical decision that you made, like what was the most difficult point of this artwork and how did you overcome these challenges and why did you have hard time with it and how did you overcome? Those are sort of a judgment that you made as you draw this to make it better, and how you grew as an artist. So you can also include that if you like. Number 5, personal expression. In what ways does this artwork represent your individual point of view, imagination, creativity, and individuality? So by drawing this, you probably were able to understand your situation. Maybe you were able to think about how you can overcome this situation. Maybe you are able to truly revisit and understand what you were feeling earlier. I really want you to think about like how this artwork made me be a better understanding of situation. Like I want you to sort of think about how this artwork changed you. Okay, so for an example, if I was to if I was this artist and was talking, answering this question, I will say along the way, like, this drawing has helped me, this drawing has been helpful to process and acknowledge the wide range of emotion that I was holding on to, and that that comes from such an absurd situation, an unforeseen situation. You guys being freshmen in high school, you had extra challenges for you to overcome, right? The uncertainty and the fear of it was something that I had to let out as I was drawing this. So those are kind of things that you might want to discuss. How is important? How did this artwork allow you to express yourself? How did it allow you to be creative? How did it allow you to uh, create a narrative, or individuality? So those are your interpretation. There are three things that I really want you to think about when you meet with me. That is question number 2 and question number 3.4 and number 4. I forgot to underline that. So those are the 4 things that I'm really going to emphasize during our meeting. So try your best to fill out this form as much as possible. Every question cannot exceed more than 3 to 5 sentences. It's very quick, to the point, and organized. Okay, so I don't want a long essay. 3 to 5 sentences per question, or 1 sentence for questions like number 3.1, 3.2. It's really short answers. So I hope that this video was helpful. Try to fill it out before meeting, and good luck. All right, bye.